Let's get to the news. Well, it's 2024, and you know what happens later this year? Oh, damn it. I was going to say the Olympics. At a campaign rally in Iowa last week, former President Trump said that President Biden, quote, can't put two sentences together. Have you heard him talk? He can put like 100 together. The same rally in Iowa last week, former President Trump said that the Civil War, quote, could have been negotiated. That was crazy enough, but then he said the Gettysburg Address could have been an email. Same rally, Trump also called on President Biden to release Capitol rioters from prison, and I guess it was only a matter of time before he settled on the same campaign platform as the Joker. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is facing criticism after she recently failed to cite slavery as the leading cause of the Civil War, and not only that, she's facing a D in social studies. According to a new report, when the violence began to escalate in the Capitol attack, then President Trump was, quote, just not interested in doing more to stop it. Either that or he was exhausted from everything he had to do to start it. When asked yesterday about reports that she could be former President Trump's running mate in 2024, Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik said she would be, quote, honored to serve in any capacity in a Trump administration. Well, I'm pretty sure First Lady's going to be up for grabs. Apple announced today that its Vision Pro headset will launch next month. This news first reported on your hand, your wrist, your lap, and pretty soon, your face. After their dog recently ate an envelope filled with $4,000, a couple in Pennsylvania was able to recover $3,500 in cash. Said their friends, you can just Venmo me. Taco Bell has begun offering Crunchwrap Supreme meal kits at Walmart, which include tortillas, crunchy tostada shells, taco seasoning, and Velveeta cheese sauce. You can cook it at home, then take it right out to your car to eat it. The largest radio company in the country announced over the weekend that it has filed for bankruptcy. If you haven't heard about it, it's because they announced it on the radio. A man in Alabama was arrested recently after he allegedly crashed his car outside of a Bass Pro Shop, took off his clothes, and jumped into the store's aquarium. But I'm not going to make a joke about that because it's low-hanging fruit. Actually, after he jumped in the water, it became high-hanging fruit. Anybody who doesn't get it, stay after, and we'll do a... Baze, I think, told me he drew a diagram. We should offer more, like, stay after if you didn't get any of the jokes. Someone over there has got a very stern face. Keep them after. And we'll be the only talk show with detention. And finally, the CDC has issued a recall for more than 11,000 pounds of ready-to-eat meat products. 11,000 pounds of meat, or as it's also known, an Arby's kid meal. Well, there we go. Now you know it's a new year. We've turned over a new leaf on Arby's. During his speech in South Carolina yesterday, President Biden criticized former President Trump for attempting to overturn the election and called him a, quote, loser. Oh, come on. What has Trump ever lost besides an airline, his hotel, his golf course, the popular vote twice, the electoral vote once, 2 wives, a casino, most of his hair, and his mind? According to a newly released document, a Jeffrey Epstein accuser claimed to have copies of sex tapes Epstein has made of former President Trump. And like most porn, it starts with him ordering a pizza. That's right, a Jeffrey Epstein accuser claimed to have a sex tape of former President Trump. I don't know. I think if there was a sex tape, we would have seen it by now in a Trump campaign ad. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve of this porno. A man in Portland recently found a working iPhone along the side of a road that is believed to have been on board the Alaskan Airlines plane that had a door plug blow off mid-flight. And honestly, I'm not sure what's scarier, having the door blow off your plane or losing your phone? 84-year-old Maryland Congressman Steny Hoyer announced yesterday that he will run for re-election. Steny, man, you know you're old when your name doesn't even exist anymore. It's like having a congressman named Ramses. In a speech yesterday, Pope Francis called for a universal ban on surrogacy. Okay, but it seemed to work out for you in the past. A truck driver from Illinois was recently reunited with his cat nearly 700 miles away from where she initially wandered off, or, just as likely, two cats were gray. And finally, CNN Travel recently published an article titled "The Most Exciting New Trains Coming in 2024," which is hopefully the F train. In a new interview, Texas Senator Ted Cruz said that President Biden has done, quote, what no president of either party has ever done, and ignored the rule of law. Huh. Wonder if Trump heard that from court. One more sketch of this guy, and we can make an animated series. In his remarks after his presidential immunity hearing yesterday, former President Trump claimed that if he was in office, there would be no war in Ukraine or Israel. Really? You couldn't even keep America from attacking itself. Trump also said that there would be, quote, bedlam in the country if he's prosecuted. Oh, I'm sure he's right. Parade floats, blocking traffic, a massive champagne shortage. You wouldn't be able to walk a block without a stranger kissing you. Also, he said there would be bedlam. I'm not sure you can use that word and then claim the other guy is too old. Not a lot of teens using bedlam. New Jersey Senator Robert Menendez spoke on the Senate floor yesterday and defended himself against accusations of bribery. He said he refuses to step down unless someone's willing to make it worth his while. Boeing CEO David Calhoun reportedly held a staff-wide meeting yesterday after the FAA grounded dozens of its 737 MAX 9 planes. He said if you need to talk, his door is always blown open. The food brand Oscar Mayer is hiring 12 full-time drivers for its Wienermobile, which is still less embarrassing than driving this Wienermobile. Forbes magazine announced this week the unhealthiest states in the country, and West Virginia ranks first. I'm not surprised. It even looks like something Virginia needs to have removed. This is very... See, I was like gonna be bad at TV for a second, because like I'm gonna show you how I point, but watch what happens with my pencil. Yeah. See? And then I remembered before I up. I remembered. Meta announced yesterday it will begin removing age-inappropriate content from teenagers' Facebook feeds. So if you see a teenager on Facebook, you're being catfished. Just saw your last picture. Totally bedlam. In a new interview, actor Kevin Hart said that he's in a group chat with action movie stars, including Harrison Ford, Tom Cruise, and Jackie Chan. And I'll bet I can guess all their group chat personalities. Kevin Hart makes all the jokes. Tom Cruise is the guy who uses way too many exclamation points. Jackie Chan puts a ha-ha on everything. And Harrison Ford is not on that chat. And finally, the brewer of Miller Lite announced yesterday that it's launching new beer-flavored mints. And if that goes well, they might even start offering beer-flavored beer. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie announced yesterday that he is ending his presidential campaign less than a week before the Iowa caucuses. That means last place is now up for grabs. The judge overseeing his civil fraud trial today allowed former President Trump to speak for 5 minutes after his legal team finished their closing arguments, and now he's facing 11 more counts of fraud. Before he allowed former President Trump to address the court today, Judge Arthur Engoron asked, quote, "Do you promise to just comment on the facts and the law? Good luck." That's like asking Jake, "Do you promise you won't talk about State Farm?" During a Fox News town hall last night, former President Trump took credit for overturning Roe versus Wade. Because look, if he's got to keep his kids, so do you. In last night's town hall, former President Trump repeated his claim that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis would be working in a pizzeria or a law firm without his support, and the fact that he thinks those two jobs are similar explains a lot about his legal team.
I found this guy, he was at a pizza place, now he's my lawyer.
Trump also said he knows who he wants to be his running mate, but added, quote, "I can't tell you that." Well, of course not. You'd be putting their life in danger. House Speaker Mike Johnson said during an interview yesterday that he's planning on calling former President Trump to walk him through his spending deal with Senate Democrats. God, what are you going to do next? Walk a pigeon through algebra? Guess which one's going to take less time? An F train derailed yesterday in Brooklyn, causing several hours of normal F train service. It was the same, but with a reason. The technology company Augmental unveiled a new device this week called MouthPad, which allows users to scroll through their smartphones by using their tongue. Finally, a way to get all the germs on my phone directly into my body. And finally, the Coast Guard announced that it recently seized nearly 2,500 pounds of cocaine in the Caribbean Sea. The Coast Guard got suspicious when they realized all the fish were flying fish. And that was a monologue, everybody.